What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Sunday, April 7th, 2024, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 14:47 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from the Middle East and also from here in the United States. We have this massive movement of military helicopters ongoing from upstate New York to Philadelphia for some reason. And in eastern Pennsylvania, there's some kind of helicopter exercise going on with various types of combat helicopters. And people are emailing me from all around the country saying that they're seeing a massive movement of military aviation in their area. So I find the timing to be very interesting because the solar eclipse is tomorrow afternoon, and I'm going to be covering the solar eclipse live. I have some webcams that I'm going to set up because I'm in like the 95% totality of this solar eclipse. I'm in north central Pennsylvania. So I'm going to set up cams here and we're going to monitor some other parts of the world, including Mexico. And then we're going to monitor the solar eclipse in different parts of the US. So I'm going to be live streaming starting 1 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, and I'm going to cover the whole thing live. But it's very concerning, all this military aviation being moved from the Griffiths Air Force Base in Rome, New York to Philadelphia. And the East Coast Air Defense Sector has their HQ, their headquarters in Griffiths Air Force Base in Rome. So this is very, very concerning. Dozens and dozens of combat helicopters expected to move from Rome, New York to Philadelphia. And U.S. officials have told CBS that Iran is actively preparing a swarm of drones and cruise missiles for the upcoming Iranian retaliatory strike against Israel. The strike is expected to be timed around the end of Ramadan. So first they said within 48 hours, and now they're saying around the end of Ramadan. We'll have to wait and see. We know it's going to definitely happen, but maybe Iran is going to wait until Israel and the U.S. lower their guard, and maybe they're going to send their proxies in first to attack Israel. And then after Israel is bogged down, let's say dealing with Hezbollah, or when they're going into Rafah, then Iran is going to launch this massive strike on Israel, because right now Israel is on high alert. They've put their air defenses on maximum alert, and they've recalled leave for all of their air defense operators. The people in the Israeli Air Force responsible for operating air defenses have been called back from leave. Same thing with their fighter pilots. They've also broken down their F-16s and moved them on flatbed trucks out of their air bases to undisclosed locations so they don't get hit. But this is a very serious situation, guys, and it could escalate into World War III or nuclear war. And by the way, I believe we are already in World War III, the beginning stages of World War III. It's just that nobody realizes it yet. But this could escalate into something very serious, and I'm going to continue to monitor the situation. And when this attack on Israel starts, I will go live and cover it as long as necessary live. This update was sponsored by Patriot Supply. Guys, Patriot Supply has brought back their 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the discount, you got to use the link preparewithnyprepper.com. And the link is in the description below this video. But this 3-month emergency food supply has a 25-year shelf life. It includes over 2,000 calories per day, breakfasts, lunches, dinners, drinks, and snacks, all contained within 6 rugged water-resistant buckets, and free shipping is included. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $200 off or 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply. The link is in the description below this video. Free shipping is included. They also have a general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running various discounts. And to get to their general store, you just got to click on the My Patriot Supply logo when you get to preparewithnyprepper.com at the top of the page, and you'll see their general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running discounts here. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply, and the link is in the description below this video. And Iran's air defense forces are sending reinforcement air defense batteries to strategic positions in different parts of the country. Wow, guys. So they're reinforcing their air defenses. They're sending extra batteries. Now, why would you do that? Well, if, let's say, Israel retaliates and launches a full-scale decapitation strike on Iran to try to destroy their nuclear facilities and destroy their military bases and to decapitate the government, they would have to destroy the air defenses first before they can go in and strike those facilities. So Iran is preparing for that possibility by adding more air defense batteries. So now Israel is going to have to destroy more air defense batteries if they choose to launch airstrikes or missile strikes on Iran to respond. Okay, we know that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has already said that he can and will defend Israel. Okay, so I don't think Netanyahu is going to sit around and do nothing when this goes down. And I reported the other day that an Iranian VIP plane flew from Tehran to Isfahan, and in the city of Isfahan, there's a bunker, a doomsday bunker, and also the Natanz nuclear facility is not far from Isfahan. So it looks like the Iranian generals have been moved to a doomsday bunker in central Iran. And the Israeli army said their northern command entered a new phase of war preparation. They've gone into offensive mode instead of being solely in defensive mode. And the IDF has withdrawn all ground troops from the southern Gaza Strip with the exception of one brigade. Wow, guys. So that is very serious. Maybe they're expecting something to happen with Hezbollah, and the northern command is now going into offensive mode. So what does that mean? That means Israel's planning to invade Lebanon and take out Hezbollah. An advisor to Iran's supreme leader on Sunday threatened an attack on Israeli embassies. The embassies of the Israeli regime are no longer safe. Yahya Safavi, senior advisor to Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei, was quoted as saying by the ISNA news agency, adding that Tehran viewed confrontation with Israel as a legitimate and legal right. The news agency also published a graphic that it claims showcases 9 types of Iranian missiles it says are capable of hitting Israel. And here's a picture of the 9 missiles. Meanwhile, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said Sunday that Israel is ready to respond to any attack by Iran, stating that Israel has completed preparations for a response against any scenario that would develop against Iran. Both Iran and its Lebanese proxy Hezbollah have vowed revenge. One of those killed in the Damascus attack was Mohammad Reza Zahedi, reportedly responsible for the IRGC's operations in Syria and Lebanon, for the Iranian militias there, and for ties with Hezbollah, and was thus the most senior commander of Iranian forces in the two countries. Possible scenarios for which the IDF is understood to be preparing for include missile and drone attacks by Iran-backed groups in Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and Yemen, all of which have been carried out amid the ongoing Gaza war, and ballistic missile attacks directly from Iran, a situation that Israel has not yet faced. Israeli officials believe the country's air defense systems will be able to handle the threat. On Thursday, the Israeli Defense Forces canceled all leave for active combat soldiers, though the IDF Homefront Command has issued no special instructions to the public. A day earlier, the IDF said it was bolstering air defenses and calling up reservists following an assessment. Iran has reportedly also put its military forces on full high alert ahead of any expected strikes. So they're calling up reservists, they're recalling active duty combat soldiers from leave. They've put their northern command on high alert and gone into offensive mode. This is serious, guys. This could really spiral out of control. And remember last November when the U.S. House of Representatives passed a resolution saying that the U.S. would not allow Iran to acquire nuclear weapons or build nuclear weapons, and they would use any means necessary to prevent Iran from having them. So the U.S. already has plans in place to denuclearize Iran. They have probably dozens of O plans. Those are operational plans. Okay. And so the military would just pick one of those plans and put it into action. We've seen B-2 stealth bombers flying over Missouri a few days ago. I shared a picture of that with you guys. They were getting aerially refueled. So our nuclear forces are on high alert. So this is very, very serious. And we also have this situation with all these helicopters and military aviation being moved in the northeastern U.S. and around the country. What you're looking at here is video footage from northeastern Pennsylvania. This is in the Scranton Wilkes-Barre area. And this was taken yesterday. You can see 4 Chinooks here flying in formation, heading southwest towards Philadelphia. And from what I heard is there was also supposed to be some kind of an exercise in the Allentown, Pennsylvania area. Okay. Officials are warning that there will be a large movement of military helicopters through portions of the Northeast this Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, but that there is no need for concern. The helicopters will be moving from central upstate New York into Philadelphia metro area for an unknown purpose. According to Wilkes-Barre Scranton International Airport officials, they've been informed of the expected movement of military aircraft that will pass through their airspace in the coming days. According to the airport officials, a total of 70 helicopters will fly in smaller groups over this period from the Rome, New York area to the Philadelphia area. Details about the specific helicopter type and the time of these flights have not been disclosed. Airport officials said that the helicopters will be flying through their airspace over those 3 days, but didn't say whether or not this would impact flight operations there or elsewhere. Rome's airport, also known as Griffiths International Airport, doubles as home to a U.S. Air Force research laboratory and is the headquarters of the East Coast Air Defense Sector for NORAD. It used to be called Griffiths Air Force Base during the Cold War, but the base was shut down and disbanded in 1995. Wilkes-Barre Scranton International Airport officials wrote on their official Facebook page, "The public is advised that this is only an exercise and there is no need for concern." And want to just show you guys a picture that a viewer sent to me from Ohio. This was in Coshocton, Ohio. And this person told me they've never seen these in their area before. There's no military bases anywhere near Coshocton. There were also F-16s and F-35s doing touch and goes in Fresno, California. This was reported to me by a viewer, and they said that they've never seen that many F-16s and F-35s doing touch and goes in Fresno. There were also fighter jets flying over central South Dakota in the Chamberlain area. And also there were black military helicopters spotted flying over New York City yesterday. So all of this going on yesterday. I want to show you guys something interesting. In Philadelphia and Wilmington, Delaware, we have NOTAMs set up. And the purpose is for a VIP, It appears that Biden is going to be going to Philly and Wilmington, maybe for a campaign stop. I have no idea. But they're saying that no aircraft can fly in this zone through Monday evening unless it's an active law enforcement plane or a plane that's supporting the U.S. Secret Service. Okay, so very interesting. And I don't think it's related to all the military aviation moving in the Northeast. I think that's something different. But this is pretty interesting that they would set up this huge NOTAM around Philly and Wilmington just for a potential VIP visit. And China is going to be conducting emergency drills in the South China Sea tomorrow after the US, Japan, Australia, and the Philippines decided to do joint patrols in the South China Sea, and after Japan and the Philippines announced they're going to be signing a defense pact. So China's going to be doing emergency drills in the South China Sea, and the US has authorized Denmark, Norway, and the Netherlands to transfer 65 F-16s to Ukraine. And the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, said that Ukraine needs 25 Patriot batteries in order to completely close the airspace over Ukraine. That is insane, guys. 25 Patriot batteries. They're not going to get that, obviously. I don't even know if the U.S. has 25 Patriot batteries ready to send them. I know that Poland ordered like 10 Patriot batteries, and that costed several $billions. So I highly doubt Ukraine is going to get 25, especially if they're not buying it, okay? And that would take years to build. It would take several years, 5 to 10 years, for them to have 25 Patriot batteries built. So Ukraine is in a dire situation, guys. Okay, their front lines are going to collapse this spring and this summer. And that's why countries like France, Norway, Finland are considering sending troops into Ukraine to prevent this catastrophic collapse of the Ukrainian front lines and to stop Russia from getting to the capital of Ukraine, or to prevent Russia from cutting off Ukraine from the Black Sea by going to Odessa. And this is all because Ukraine has not gotten what they need when they needed it. They got the tanks too late. They're getting the F-16s too late. All of these systems are designed to work together. They should have gotten the F-16s, the tanks, the HIMARS, and the artillery shells all at the same time, and they should have gotten it the first year of the war when Russia was on the run, when the Ukrainians were taking back huge swaths of territory in Kupiansk and Kharkiv and Kherson. That's when Ukraine should have had all this equipment, 5 to 10 million shells, 2 or 3 dozen F-16s, a few hundred tanks. Then they would have been able to break through the front lines and take back the territory, not 1 or 2 years later after Russia has had time to fortify, reconstitute, go into a wartime production mode. Russia has dedicated 30% of their budget for their military, guys. They've been producing artillery shells like crazy over the last year or two, while we've been sitting around and making fun of Russian troops saying that they don't have food and they don't have boots. They've been organized, they've been focused on getting their objectives completed while we've been dilly-dallying. And because of that, unfortunately, I believe Ukraine is going to lose massive swaths of territory this coming spring and summer. I think they're going to reach the Dnieper River, the Russians, and basically the entire eastern half of Ukraine is going to become Russian territory. Unfortunately, because of the Biden administration and the leaders of the Western European countries, it's their fault. They're the ones that pressured Ukraine to do this useless counterattack last year that was a failure, and hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian soldiers were killed because of their mistakes. Okay, and fighting for Bakhmut was a strategic mistake by Zelensky. Ukraine sent their best troops to fight against Wagner in Bakhmut. They lost 50 to 100,000 of their best troops in Bakhmut. For what? For nothing. Stupid, okay? All because the West was pressuring them to show some kind of victory. Same thing with the counteroffensive. It was doomed for failure from the beginning because they didn't have the equipment they needed. And the path of totality of the solar eclipse is going to be over several major cities in the U.S. Austin, Texas, San Antonio, Dallas, Texas, Little Rock, Arkansas, Indianapolis, Cleveland, Ohio, Buffalo, New York, Burlington, Vermont, Caribou, Maine. And it's going to start around 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time in Texas, and it's going to end around 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time in New England. And it's going to also start in Mexico around 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So I'm going to be covering it all tomorrow. Join me at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 1300 Eastern Time. I'm going to start the stream. And what's very interesting is if you look at the path of totality of the 2017 eclipse and this coming eclipse, they intersect right over the New Madrid fault. Look at that, guys. That is absolutely insane. Okay? This is right where the New Madrid fault is. So I don't know if we're going to see massive earthquakes tomorrow or this week, but this is very, very unusual. And also, we had this freak earthquake in New Jersey, the strongest earthquake in 250 years, a 5.5 magnitude earthquake that was quickly downgraded to a 4.8 by the U.S. Geological Survey to prevent panic. And what's interesting is we've had dozens of aftershocks after that main quake. We're still getting aftershocks today. There was a 2.2 magnitude aftershock today, this morning. Look at all these aftershocks, guys. And this is literally just 30 to 40 miles from the most densely populated area of the entire United States. The buildings in the New York City, New Jersey area are not built to withstand earthquakes, okay? Because earthquakes are so rare here. There is a fault line that goes through New Jersey here, the Ramapo Fault. And there's also a nuclear power plant that was shut down in southern New York, in Westchester County, New York. There was the Indian Point Power Plant, which was literally built right on this fault line. And they recently shut it down, but there's still obviously the nuclear fuel that they have to keep cool, even though it's not producing power. The nuclear fuel is still there. They have to keep it cool. They also have spent fuel at that power plant, and it's literally built right on the fault line. Okay? So, very serious situation here in the New York City area with this freak earthquake. Who knows what kind of damage that earthquake did to buildings, to foundations, to bridges. They're not built to sustain those kinds of earthquakes, okay? And much of the infrastructure in this area is very old as well, decades old. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I might be back later on tonight with more breaking news. If not, I will be going live tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 1300 Eastern Time to cover the solar eclipse. So I'll see you guys tomorrow or later tonight. And until then, take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere. Guys, the world is getting crazier by the day. We're on the verge of World War III. The U.S. is drowning in trillions of dollars in debt. Inflation is at an all-time high, and there's no end in sight. So you need to prepare your finances for the future with precious metals. Precious metals are a great way to protect your hard-earned savings and retirement against inflation and the uncertainty of the stock market. Also, precious metals are good to have for the purposes of preparedness, to be able to barter with people for essential supplies if the grid goes down. Every prepper should have at least a small amount of silver coins. The company I trust for my precious metals is Midas Gold Group. Text NYPrepper to 232-425 for free information on precious metals. Midas Gold Group is 100% veteran owned and supports veterans through the Wounded Warrior Project. Midas Gold Group will work with you to convert part of your retirement savings into gold or to set up a gold IRA. And unlike many precious metals dealers, Midas Gold Group offers precious metals in small denominations, which is great for preparedness, so you have something tangible to use for bartering when the grid goes down. Precious metals have continuously risen in price over the past 100 years and are considered a safe investment. So text NYPrepper to 232-425 for free information and to get started today.